Hello everyone and welcome back to the AOR F1 2016 Season 12 Championship. It's the Canadian Grand Prix for round 7 and as you can see 14 turns and 4.47 kilometres await the drivers. It's probably one of the better tracks for overtaking with a few very long straights, one or two DRS detection zones in fact, which should promote a lot of overtaking. My name's xMattyG, Matthew Gallagher, and joining me in the commentary box once again, it's Justin.
Thanks for having me, Matt. Looking forward to this one. As you said, Canada usually puts up fantastic races, lots of overtaking, nice long straights, hairpin corner as well. Should be a lot of fun.
With the tyres available, ultra soft, super soft and the soft compound tyres, it should promote a lot of interesting strategies, 35 laps as well, so it should be quite interesting to see what the drivers start on and also where they go for the undercut, overcut, etc. So anyway, let's look straight into the qualifying comparison.
So here we are for the qualifying comparison for the Canadian Grand Prix Championship leader and eventual pole sitter, the Flying Finn, on the left and his nearest championship contender Ciario on the right. Opening the lap with turn 1, Ciario using more of the curb on the inside, which will help him open up turn 2 just a fraction more, which will help with a very difficult traction zone out of turn 2 as we head into the first of the big features on this circuit. The chicanes, they require such precision at the speed that they're required to be taken at to be quick around this lap. And at the end of the first sector, it's the Renault on the right of your screen that is fractionally ahead, as you can see from the freeze frame. The first of the chicanes in sector 2, now a slow left followed by what is essentially a traction zone through the right. The back end always wanting to step out with both drivers right on the limit of the car snapping away. And now into the second of the chicanes that make up the second sector of the lap, breaking at the shadow from the bridge above. Both drivers on maximum attack, throwing the car into the right hand of the Flying Finn with a beautifully controlled power start on the way out, which looks to have given him an advantage speed-wise on the run into the heaviest braking zone on the circuit for the hairpin. The Williams on the left just slightly missing the apex as he then picks up some power on oversteer with those still hot rear tyres from a few corners ago, but it doesn't look to have affected him too much. Down the back straight, DRS active down here as the drivers now have what feels like all the time in the world to prepare for the final chicane. A lap can be made or broken here as the drivers look to thread the car between the two big curbs at around 100 miles an hour. Massive precision required, avoiding the wall of champions on the exit, and a quick opening of DRS will see them to the line. The Flying Finn taking pole position and Ciario will line up directly behind him on the grid in third. Back to your main commentators now for the full qualifying classifications.
So as we've just seen, it is the Flying Finn on pole position, ahead of his nearest championship rival, Ciario in the Renault. One of only 3 drivers to dip into the 111s, with Strees in between them, the only driver able to get within a tenth of the Flying Finn. In fourth comes the Flying Finn's teammate, STS F1 Alonso, a fantastic qualifying result from him. Then comes the Mercedes of CRL Hamilton, with his teammate TRL Martin in 7th position and Franglish splitting them. In 8th position comes Falcon, and then Reversal, and then Rosberg rounding out the top 10. The Force India of Ycoms will be the lead driver with free choice of tire compound. The Haas of Lucky Dog now will start from 12th position. Mike Marshmallow in the Sauber will follow him. Then Jason 97 F1 for Ferrari in 14th position. Leobot way down in 15th position. He's followed by Stu Snowadore in 17th position for Manor. Then comes Burnout, 6 Skills, and then TRL Limitless bringing up the rear, with HDR Cupid not setting a time because of a qualifying ban.
Here we are then. I'm pumped for this. I hope you guys are too watching at home. It's the Canadian Grand Prix for round 7 of this Apex Online Racing Championship. We've got the Flying Finn on pole position once again, Justin. A man that can't seem to really be stopped at the moment, although only 20 points to Ciario, so it's still all up for grabs as we're heading into round 7.
Yep, Ciario starting from 3rd position, and Strees actually less than a tenth off in qualifying, so the Red Bull driver definitely seeming like he could be one of the challengers for the Flying Finn as well. And if those two get involved, then Ciario could possibly get involved as well. So really looking forward to this one, and I think it's going to be a pretty good race.
So on the formation lap now, on board with the Flying Finn on pole position on the Ultra Soft. You'd imagine that most of the top 10, if not all of them, I think, are on the Ultra Softs, purely because they are the fastest tyre. And this grid, they are so closely sort of put together on pace terms, and we've seen that with, again, another failed attempt from Limitless to, well, just get anywhere near the front. And you've got AOR Reversal in 9th place on the soft compound tyres. I'm not sure how he's managed that one, but Justin, it's going to be interesting with Limitless coming from the back of the field again. It seems like that seems to happen all the time, that he's never at the front, and he's really going to have to sort something out in this race.
Yeah, I think as much as we've said this is a track that promotes overtaking, I think Limitless is going to have to get clever when it comes to the strategy if he wants to get anywhere near the top 5. Yeah, same thing as well. Those guys are really going to struggle. They're going to need some luck as well, I think.
So, as you can see, pretty much every single car is on these soft compound tyres outside of the top 10, purely because of that extra bit of... It's a very strange thing that happens in this game, but either way, basically, the softer tyres last longer if you start on the harder primes, but you've got HCR Cupid starting on these super soft tyres, which also will give him the same benefit, as the drivers are now ready for the lights to come for round 5, the Canadian Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go on board with AOR Reversal. We will not get a very good start compared to Rosberg, and he does not on those soft compound tyres. Rosberg making a position up into turn 1. Flying Finn's locked up though. That's going to allow Strees into the lead possibly, but no, Flying Finn comes back onto the track. Ciario loses the back end and Strees takes the lead. The man that has 1 point in this championship so far leads this race. Cyril Hamilton up into P3 in that Mercedes. What a great start for him as Ycoms hits the back of Lucky Dog and then gets hit from behind as well, and that's his entire front wing off of that car, and that is a terrible start. Fortunately for him, he still has wheels on his car, but he's got a lot of work to do in the rest of this race. Ciario is now losing another position to the other Mercedes of TRL. Martin now up into P4. So Ciario, the man who is the closest challenger to Flying Finn, and Martin goes up the inside of Hamilton there as well. Great move from Martin, but just saying, oh, there's more contact. Big flip. RS Falcon's upside down. Oh my days.
Oh, he's fixed it.
Somehow managed to flip it back round. What a start, Justin.
That is actually incredible. I'm sort of speechless right now. I'm not sure what exactly happened there, but it does look like the majority of the people are going to continue on with all their wheels. As you said, I did see a puncture as the Flying Finn having a look on Strees. No DRS activated yet as we come to the end of lap 1. Tried to go around the outside. Very difficult to do through that final chicane, but again with the incredible straight line speed and possibly with the inside line, no, Strees outbreaks him into turn 1, holds on to that first place position for now, but I can already see a gap starting to form between second and third. AOR Reversal down into 12th position. He is following behind Leobot and Jason97 F1, those two battling side by side, and here comes Burnout actually on the right hand side. He's going to move up a position, and Leobot ahead of Jason. Oh, and Burnout loses out though to Reversal. A bit of a mistake through the chicane there, and Reversal's going to take that position back. Jason trying to come back at Leobot, who has had a difficult season, but seems like he's had a bit of a return of performance recently. Ycoms is going to come out of the pits, as is RS Falcon. So, as you said, Matty, very, very difficult for those guys. They got a lot of work ahead of them to do. But they are still in this race. It is not all over for them. Ciario is going to try and go around the outside now of Hamilton at that hairpin. Again, no DRS just yet, as we're only coming to the end of lap number 2. They're going to be side by side coming out of there. I wonder if Martin's going to give his teammate a bit of a slipstream here. Here comes the Flying Finn now. Again, he's going to try and go around the outside of this final chicane. But again, Strees positions his car very well there. And it does look like Ciario is going to get that position off of Hamilton, and possibly another position off of Martin as well. And once again, Strees just doesn't seem to have the straight line speed, but he does seem much better under braking.
Yeah, definitely, and I'm surprised the Flying Finn didn't go for that move, but at the same time, just playing it cautious. He's in the championship lead. He doesn't want to be throwing away points with a very silly mistake, as Stu is also in the pit. So these guys that have had those incidents at the beginning of the race, and there's a Renault in as well, of Burnout F1. So these guys are going to be praying for a safety car to get themselves back into this race, because really they have lost a lot of time, especially Falcon, who was upside down. That was pretty insane to see. But Flying Finn just completely missing his braking point, and then coming back on the track reasonably dangerously, you have to say. But luckily for Strees, he was not taken out with that. But we now are on board with Falcon, who was facing the right way at this particular stage of the Grand Prix, and going through the first few corners. He goes through it, gets very close to Franglish there, and you can just see how close these guys are going through the first few corners. It's so interesting to see. Limitless got caught up as well in that middle sector, I believe. So, actually in the first sector, sorry. So Limitless was down to last place as Cupid got a slightly better start than him on the Super Softs, but then he goes round the outside now for the inside line for turn 2, and Limitless just trying to kind of just get through this absolute carnage that was going to unfold. But you will probably see in a little bit that he did not get through unscathed, as that's where Ycoms hits straight into the back of Lucky Dog, then gets tagged from behind by Snowy, I think that is, who was on the ultra soft tyres as well, and that was how that ended. And then this is on board with Snowy, so you can see there, yeah, just clips the left rear of Ycoms, and around she goes.
Yeah, I don't think, I don't know if there's going to be any sort of penalties or anything like that. Certainly, I don't want to jump to any kind of conclusion. Stu as well, getting significantly caught out. Yeah, so both of the Force Indias actually having some damage through that chicane, but I don't want to jump to any conclusions. Oh gosh, and there's the middle sector issue that you saw, and Limitless goes for a 1080 spin, 10 for style points at the very least, but yeah, that did drop him right down into last place. He is on the hardest compound tires though. The soft compound is also the mandatory tire compound. Oh gosh, seeing Limitless going spinning from that camera view. Wow, Cupid just scything his way. It's like, oh my gosh, I mean, that's incredible. He's just making his way through all those positions. Here's the replay of what happened between Franglish and Rosberg there. And then Falcon just goes for the most exciting upside-down turn I've ever seen. I think he was still going about 40 miles an hour while upside down. We can see it from this point of view. Yep. Reversal, not really sure what to do. Do I help him? Do I push him back over? Do I just overtake him? I don't know what to do in this situation. Can you really blame him? And then Reversal at the end of lap 2 at the hairpin, taking lots of inside curb there, trying to get a run on Jason, and then he gets tagged as well by Burnout. So that's why we saw Burnout into the pits. We can see it from Burnout's point of view as he was trying to go around the outside. Yeah, I think Reversal maybe just didn't know he was there and was trying to get into that slipstream of Jason 97 F1. So yeah, a lot of incidents there for sure. I don't want to jump the gun and say anyone's to blame here, but at the end of lap number 3, the Flying Finn with DRS, and Stries for some reason decides not to defend the inside line on this particular occasion. Oh, the Flying Finn right on the limit there. Stries coming back at him though. Impressive stuff. DRS is open for the Williams driver, but Stries with the much better exit through the chicane. Sayariu meanwhile trying to make up positions as well on TRL Martin with the benefit of the DRS, locking up the inside wheel, still side by side through turn number 2. But as long as he gets on the power relatively decently, I think he's going to get him here. No, they're still side by side just about. Yep, and Sayariu's got him back up into that third place position he started in.
Yes, there's action all the way up and down the field. It's a great first few laps. I mean, there's a few collisions that we wouldn't really want to see, but I think a lot of them were down to lag, if anything. So now board with Ycoms, who has just been passed by Burnout, who will have the benefit of DRS once again. So for those guys that are watching that don't know, that there is a DRS detection zone, but it's for both of the DRS points. So the guy behind at the first DRS detection will get the benefit for both of the DRS points. So that's what Burnout did, and he takes that position away from Ycoms. The Flying Finn now should surely fly past Stries and be able to just take the lead of this race. He's a lot closer than he was the previous lap, and he will actually be able to get back onto the racing line before the braking zone, which he does beautifully towards the chicane where the Wall of Champions is, and Martin gets straight through on Sayariu again. So Martin and Sayariu cannot be they're just absolutely nose to tail at the moment, and that just shows their pace is very close, and that's the nature of this track really, with it being quite a short track. There's not much pace difference between most of the field, as we'll see, and if they can stay within the DRS points of each other, I think we won't see many groups sort of pulling away, apart from first and second, who have got a lovely little bit of gap there, which I'm sure is really settling the nerves of Stries, especially with only 1 point at the moment.
Yeah, I think there's a big gap as well between 13th and last, and 21st as well, because everybody below 13th, I think, are people that had to come into the pits to repair some sort of damage of some kind. So we've almost got 2 races going on, people that were involved in lap 1 incidents and people that weren't. Jason 97 F1, though, one of those drivers that was not involved in any major incidents anyway. He didn't pit for repairs, getting a nice run on Leobot, picking up that slipstream on the rundown towards turn number 8. Difficult passing location though, no DRS there or anything, and squirming the back end a little bit at the exit of turn number 9. Flying Finn now is going to try and defend from Stries. Stries with the DRS, he is closing up on him. He's got the slipstream as well. I don't think he's going to be alongside. Never mind, he's already passed into the chicane. A lovely move from Stries. He does get the DRS, as you mentioned, Matt, just 1 detection zone, 2 activation zones, and it does look like that DRS was just about enough to keep Stries ahead, but only barely. I think he might be running more downforce than the Flying Finn.
Yeah, we might be able to see that when we go on board with the pair of them up at the front, as we've now got Jason up the inside of Cupid. who, well, actually, no, that's not Cupid, that's Leobot, sorry, and that didn't update because they just went over the line. So Leobot and Jason battling very hard over that final points-paying position for this Canadian Grand Prix. Limitless is up into P12 now on those soft compound tyres, but as you can see, very far away from the lead with these guys on the ultra soft tyres still. And this is now on board with HCR Cupid in that cockpit cam, which he decided to change earlier on in the season. I'm not sure why he decided it, but either way, I think it's affected his pace slightly, apart from when he was really quite rampant for the Monaco Grand Prix. But Cupid down in 9th position at the moment after having that quali ban, after that incident at Monaco, where he took out Snowy, I believe it was. But either way, there's another fight for the lead. It's the Flying Finn who has 6 on the front wing, so take note of that compared to what we'll see maybe with Strees, or maybe Strees is just saving some fuel towards the end of this race. It's interesting to see. So he's got 0.33 laps, has the Flying Finn in excess as he puts up into Rich, and now we're on board with Lucky Dog now, who is fighting Cupid into this chicane. Don't want to be hitting that wall of champions. That chicane really can unsettle the car, and also the exit curb as well, as we now cut to a replay on board Cupid. This is probably where he gets through on Jason, as it's a bit of a drag race at the moment. It's interesting to see that Cupid is running 8 on the front wing, so these guys, despite having quite a few long sort of straights, or at least 2, they're deciding, Justin, to go for the downforce rather than the speed.
Yep, Limitless has gone for the opposite, though. He's running 5 on the front wing. Of course, we don't know the rear wing angle that all these drivers are running at, but, oh, big moment for Snowy! Oh, and that is going to take out Burnout as well. Snowy is driving backwards. He's got a 5-second stop-go penalty, thankfully. His car ghosting, not taking out any further drivers. Here's the look at it from Burnout's point of view. Yeah, I think really that's just an accident. That's a racing incident. I don't think anybody is necessarily to blame for that one. Burnout just kind of driving in a straight line, and he is going to pick up a penalty as well for speeding into the pits. I think we knew that was coming the moment that we saw him lock up, and it does look like Snowy is going to pull off to the side and retire. Unfortunate for the Manor driver, but back up to the front of the field, the Flying Finn already under attack. We're not even into the final couple of straights at the end of this lap, but already coming under attack from Strees, and Strees should pick up the DRS here. He's very, very close coming out of that hairpin as well. 6 on the front downforce for the Williams car as well, so that is the exact same, or no, he was the one that we saw before. We were trying to find out Strees, but Strees just goes flying by with that DRS, able to take the racing line into the chicane. Back end stepping out a little bit there. Sayaryu coming into the pits for an early stop, so the first of the front runners. He is followed into the pits by TRL Martin, so 3rd and 4th into the pits at the end of lap 7. Still 28 laps remaining. I have to imagine those guys are on for a 2-stop.
Yeah, that would probably make the most sense, as Sayaryu gets held for about 2 and a bit seconds there. And that has allowed Martin to get through on the Renault driver. And now this is Limitless going up into 9th place on the soft tyres. Not really seen too much of him at the moment, but he's just quietly going about his business. But unfortunately for him, he's going to see one of his arch nemesis from Season 10, Martin, already got a pit stop on him. And that's probably going to hurt quite a bit. However, if Limitless is stopping one stop less than Martin, then he'll probably come into play, as Ycoms is going to go past not 1 but 2 straight through the middle with the help of DRS as well, and the better run out of the last chicane. And Ycoms takes 2 positions in the space of about 10 metres, which was absolutely fantastic to see. And we now see the Flying Finn and Strees both going to come into the pits. I hope they're both going to realise and not battle into the pits. Let's have a look and see. Flying Finn should clear Strees going into the pits now as he comes flying in. Can he spot his braking point? He can indeed. He brakes very hard indeed. Strees carries on, Justin.
Yeah, Strees continues on, so Flying Finn will get the benefit of the undercut. Since there's no refueling, the undercut is generally more powerful than the overcut. We'll see if Strees can change that, though. Limitless up into 9th, but not for very long, as there goes Martin. As you said, his one-time rival now goes flying by into 9th place. Limitless with a good run through the chicane, but again, Martin with the benefit of the DRS. I don't think he's going to be able to do much. Let's see where the Flying Finn comes out. So the overcut could be beneficial if the Flying Finn gets stuck in traffic. He does come out just behind Limitless's teammate, Lucky Dog now, so he could potentially get held up there. Sayaryu comes out in 10th position. He is now behind Limitless, but on these super soft tires, Limitless on 9-lap-old or 8-lap-old softs up ahead, so he will definitely have a pace benefit over the many-time almost champion. Here we go, Jason 97 in the Ferrari on the attack on Leobot. Again, these guys started outside the top 10 on the soft compound tires, so they're going to be going pretty long. Oh, man. Jason 97 keeps it out of the barrier, which was very good because, yeah, that definitely could have been a lot worse than it actually was. He's going to come under attack from TRL Martin, though. Here we go. Martin with the inside line. Jason with maybe the better exit. No, Martin with a much better exit is going to take that position. And now Sayaryu behind Limitless. Limitless picks up the DRS, but so does Sayaryu. Limitless going to defend the inside. No, he drifts back over to the left-hand side. He's going to defend the outside. Sayaryu can't get alongside through into the chicane, so he's going to sit behind for now. No surprise there. He's got a couple of cars ahead of him, so that's not very good for Sayaryu. Hasn't worked out well for him. Hasn't worked out all that well for the Flying Finn either, though. He's still stuck behind Lucky Dog now, and Strees comes out right behind him on one lap fresher soft tires.
Yep, that could be the turning point for Strees, at least, just to have that tiny bit sort of an advantage with the fact they're on the soft. It's quite interesting as well. They're on the soft compound tyres, Justin, when in fact the other two, Martin and Sayaryu, you could call them the chasing pack, are on the super soft tyres, which means they've been forced into a two-stop as Flying Finn goes up the inside of Lucky Dog. Purely because not even if the super soft can go that far, I don't think they can, but also the soft tyres is the mandatory tyre for this race weekend, meaning that they do have to pit no matter what, as Strees is now all over the back of the Flying Finn, and he may well take the lead, or the net race lead in fact, because that will be for B2, and they're going to be close into the chicane, and the Flying Finn almost braked early to allow Strees in, and Strees braked at exactly the same time, and that could have easily cost maybe a chip of the front wing from the Flying Finn, but fortunately for him, he managed to just about judge that right, and Sayaryu's going to finally get past Limitless. That would have hurt Sayaryu's chances of staying with Martin, because Martin is ahead. I think he's in 5th place, so Limitless not doing Sayaryu any favours, whereas for Martin he let him straight through, so obviously a little bit of a, I don't know, obviously they're friends, Limitless and Martin. He's not really going to make too much of an impact because he knows he's not really fighting him. Leobot is still right behind Martin, which is interesting to see in Martin's pace, that Leobot, just purely with that DRS and slipstream, he hasn't got good tyres on him, but he's managing to stay with Martin at the moment, as we now cut to AOR Reversal on the racing line. He's going to go straight past 6 skills for 17th and 18th. AOR Reversal has had such a very up and down season. He's been on the podium, now he's down in 17th, and I think that really is just testament not only to the fact that, you know, an instant can ruin a race, but also how closely and how competitive this field is.
Yeah, extremely competitive, to the point where losing 3 seconds in the pit lane can cost you everything, as Sayaryu found out the hard way. Here's a replay at the end of lap 10 as Sayaryu tries to get by Jason 97 F1. Pretty easy through there. Nice and easy move on him. Back on board with Limitless running behind Leobot. And getting back end stepping out a little bit. That is a difficult chicane there through 8 and 9. Into the hairpin we go. Is JD going to try anything? No, he doesn't. He's going to stay behind 4 right now. But he will pick up the DRS here, and then also on the start-finish straight as well. Switching back on board to the current race leader, but not net race leader. That's HCR Cupid in the Red Bull as he comes into the pits for his first stop. Limitless with the DRS is going to take that position off of Leobot just about, and meanwhile Franglish getting by Jason 97 F1, so lots of overtaking going on. As we mentioned earlier in the race, the pack was spreading out a little bit because of people having to pit after the lap 1 incidents and everything, but we've got some incredible racing. A 2.1 second pit stop for HCR Cupid, and he is going to feed right back into this battle. Oh my gosh, there's so many cars, some oversteer for STS F1 Alonso in the background there, and it looks like Cupid is going to slot in behind Jason 97. Is he going to try for a very early overtake? Yes, he is, into turn number 6. That is not a normal overtaking location, certainly, but Cupid does move up ahead of Jason and now turns his focus towards Franglish up ahead in the McLaren.
So Cupid's come out on these super soft tyres, meaning he will have to pit again because he's got onto 2 sets of those super softs, which means he's going to have to come into the pits again. So quite a strange strategy, you have to say. I thought maybe it'd be better just to go onto these softs from where he pitted, but either way, the Flying Finn once again cannot be separated. These two, Strees and the Flying Finn, and you have to say Strees is hanging in there very nicely indeed. He doesn't really have to do too much apart from just stay within about 8 tenths, and he's going to try and come back at the Flying Finn despite Finn having the DRS. And going into turn 1 now, Strees having a little look into turn 1, but nothing doing there. And it doesn't seem like we have a point of view from Strees' angle, which is unfortunate, because it'd be really nice to see some onboard shots with him. But either way, Jason is now coming under some pressure from STS F1 Alonso, who takes that 1 points paying position away from Jason, who is an AOR veteran. For those of you that don't know, he's been in these leagues for many, many years, and I'm surprised he's not a little bit further up this season, but maybe he's just taking a little bit to get into the game as Leobot almost squeezed Cupid. I think it was unknowingly, if anything. I think Cupid just decided to go into a gap that was always going to close, and Cupid, as we know, always likes to go for every single gap that is possibly available on the track, and that's another one he's going for up the inside this time for P7, and his next target is Tiro Limitless, who is still on those soft compound tyres, and it is lap 14 of 35. We're not even half race distance, and we have seen more overtakes than most of these races, I think, put together. And we're back on board with Jason, who I think is going to come under pressure from Cyril Hamilton, maybe? I'm not sure, but it seems like he is just watching and waiting, as there are quite a few cars bunched up from maybe P6 to P11 there. So anything can happen, and we've seen quite a few incidents already this race, Justin. I'm sure there's a few more on the horizon.
Yeah, again, I think it's just, as Alonso cutting the chicane there a little bit. I don't know if that's going to be a warning for him or if he's already had several warnings, but start of lap 15. Yeah, I think that it's just that cockpit view with Strees that makes things so terrifying. A big mistake for Alonso into turn 2. That's going to put Jason 97 all over the back of him, but no, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get by. Again, just, or I'm sorry, it was Cupid with the cockpit angle. Is just terrifying sometimes, the way Leobot was squeezing us. Here's the replay of at the end of lap 13 of Cupid going around the outside of Franglish at the hairpin. A lovely move there from the Red Bull driver. Fantastic stuff for him. TRL Limitless still out on those soft compound tires on lap 15 here. If he's going to try for a one-stop, I have to imagine that he's going to go at least until lap 20. Cupid with the fresher super soft tires is going to shoot up the inside of that hairpin on Limitless. He's going to try a switchback, but I just don't think he's going to have the traction on those nearly 15-lap old soft compound tires, and yeah, it seems like he is struggling. Jason 97, meanwhile, is still hanging back behind Alonso, even after that mistake earlier in the lap. Not able to find a way by. Limitless as well, not able to find a way past Cupid, as Cupid got that DRS heading into the hairpin, and he will get the DRS. Oh gosh, side-by-side moment for Franglish, and Leobot is going to cause Leobot to lose several positions, dropping all the way down to P12 behind CRL Hamilton. Thankfully for Jason, he did pick up the DRS there, so he didn't have to worry too much about Hamilton behind him. What's going on with Falcon here? Oh my gosh, I don't know what he's done to his rear tires, but it's not looking good.
Yeah, absolutely punctured there for his left rear and maybe right rear as well, so he is going to be struggling down that straight, and he's pushed those super softs 15 laps. And there you go. So Limitless is going to have to go further than lap 20 if he wants to get to the end of this race. I think Cupid pitted after 12 laps on the super soft, so maybe that's where Limitless is going to have to get. But there's a battle here between Jason and Franglish going up the insides. Jason up to P9 now. So Jason making his way through this field nicely on the soft compound tyres as well. Cyril Hamilton making a move as well by the looks of things in P10. And we've got Alonso just ahead of us. This is the Flying Finn going into the last chicane. Strees still all over the back of him. And I think it's just mind games at the moment. Finn doesn't have too much fuel, really. And he's defending his position very, very hard indeed. And Strees goes up the inside for P1. And he takes it. Flying Finn gets pushed just slightly wide, clipping the grass. And Strees says, I am here for the long haul. I am here to take this 25 points and actually multiply his current championship standings by 25, and add a little bit. That is incredible to think that Strees has only scored 1 point this season. But he has got some serious pace around this Canadian Grand Prix track, and I mean, it is very impressive to see that not only does he have the pace, but it seems like he has the consistency and the nerve to stay with a man that everyone kind of seems to think of as a noble at the moment, the man that really can just win most of the races. I mean, he's not completely sort of invulnerable. We have seen a few mistakes from the Flying Finn, but he's as noble as we've seen for the last few seasons, as Strees is now coming under pressure again from the Flying Finn, and oh my gosh, that almost could have cost him a piece of his end plate there, but that is, I'm not sure if that's good fortune or completely and utterly calculated. I'm going to go with fortune, but the Flying Finn is now going to be shaping up a move, and that's going to be easy as you like. Strees started to come across, and I started to get slightly worried for Flying Finn's front end there, but he manages to take that position away, and Ciaru has definitely lost maybe a couple of seconds to Martin after that pit stop in the first round of pit stops.
Yeah, he's not out of this yet, though. He does pick up the position off of Lucky Dog. He's going to stay very to the left in order to stop that Haas driver from thinking about doing anything up the inside there. CRL Hamilton making some contact with the Wall of Champions at the end of lap 17, about the halfway point of this race now, and yeah, I can't believe that the top two are still so close together. I don't think we have seen battling for the lead like this for this amount of time so far in this season. JC97 F1 under lots of pressure from Sierra Hamilton behind. It looked like Hamilton might try something into turn 3, but no, Jason covered him off for that one. Yeah, so they're heading into Sector 2 now, as I mentioned, halfway point of the race approaching very quickly. And yeah, I'm not sure which of these drivers are going to be one-stopping, if any. I'm pretty certain that Limitless is at least going to try and one-stop. I mean, I guess that's why he put on the Super Softs in qualifying anyway. You know, that was so that he could get better tire wear, so I imagine Limitless is certainly going to be one of those. Oh, very deep for Jason97 F1. Hamilton is going to get a better exit, so I think those two are going to be side by side. Sayaryu continues on as Martin comes into the pits for a stop at the end of lap 18, so he's going to have to do a 17-lap stint on, I imagine, the soft compound tires is what I imagine he's going on to. Hamilton did indeed take that position off of Jason97 into the chicane, and here's a replay of RS Falcon.
Oh,
yeah, oh, oh man, this is, you know, this is, we maybe need some sort of claustrophobia warning at the beginning of this video, because this is some nerve-wracking stuff.
It really is, and it's not going to end anytime soon as Strees is in the slipstream with the DRS once again into the last chicane. Flying Finn gives that position. He does not try and go side by side into there, because there is only one result that's really going to end with, as Sayaryu and Cupid now battling. So Cupid has brought himself into play right now, and he's going to continue on. And he could easily... Well, Cupid is with Sayaryu now, so this kind of strategy with the two Super Softs surely has put him massively into play. And Cupid has obviously carried on as Sayaryu's come into the pits. So Sayaryu and Martin have not particularly shown very good pace compared to Cupid by the looks of things. And it'll be very interesting to see if Cupid, from the back of the grid, can get himself into a podium position.
Yeah, that would be that would be very impressive, certainly. Yeah, so Sayaryu is going to come out right alongside Leo, but with the fresher tires and that better run, the way the pit exit is, you can carry a little bit more speed versus the cars that are just taking turn 2 normally, and Sayaryu does make good use of that. He is now stuck, though, behind this three-way battle with Jason97, the car ahead of Sayaryu, so he's going to want to try and clear those guys as quickly as he can if he wants to try and keep up with Martin. So here we go, battle number 432 between Strees and Flying Finn. Strees does not even bother to defend the inside line. It's almost as if these guys are just trading positions at this point. It really doesn't even seem like they're battling, but rather just trying to keep that gap that they have. And then maybe at the end of the race, you know, maybe they'll start scrapping a little bit harder. But let's see, Sayaryu has already managed to get by Jason, and here he goes past Hamilton. So Sayaryu has done exactly what I said he needs to do. Jason is actually going to take advantage of that as well, and he's going to move up ahead of Hamilton, and he will pick up the DRS and slipstream off of Sayaryu here as well, so he might be able to build a little bit of a gap, but Sayaryu does pick up another position as Limitless is into the pits at the end of lap 20, as I predicted, onto the Super Soft tires. Now, his Super Softs should last slightly longer. We don't want to get too much into detail, but his Super Softs should last a little bit longer than the other drivers because of what he did in qualifying. So he might be able to make it to the end, but he's going to be so darn slow. And we saw in Monaco that stopping one extra time can actually be very effective. Meanwhile, Hamilton and Jason aren't quite done with their scrapping. Now, Hamilton up the inside at turn number 6. A bit of wheel spin for him at the exit of turn 7. And Strees and Flying Finn. Now it's your turn. Go on, sir. It's your turn to lead the race for a lap.
I think they are really just using this the slipstream effect. It's like you see in cycling and everything else, you know, where they just get into the slipstream and they build a gap just by working together. Although some of the times I don't think they were working together as well as they probably could have, especially with Strees going up the inside a couple of laps ago on the Flying Finn, into turn 1. But they're still using this DRS to their advantage most of the time. I'm sure Strees will take any advantage he can if he can push the Flying Finn wide or anything like that, just to bridge that gap slightly. But they cannot be separated at the moment, and lucky goes onto ultra soft tyres, so he's going to have to pit. So is Jason. So there's 2 ultra softs from here on in then for these two. So they will not be able, surely. Oh, actually no, with that soft tyre glitch, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know how far the ultra softs will go, but we're certainly going to find out as we're now aboard with Ycoms. Going to take that position away from AOR Reversal. And I'm sure they know what they're doing if they are going onto Ultra Softs, and we've seen more than one of them going onto the Ultra Softs.
Right.
So that'll be interesting to see how that pans out, but they're going to be absolutely rapid compared to the runners at the front, especially with on the soft tyres still, but they're still going. Just like, there you go, after you, there you go, you use that little bit of DRS and I'll have it next lap. Thank you very much indeed. And I think they're going to be pushing onto the Ultra Softs for their last stint as well, because they could easily have pitted by now to go on some Super Softs, but they haven't.
Right.
And it'll be interesting to see how that pans out, or maybe they're just going to the end on Softs. It's all in the air at the moment, and we will find out in these next 13 laps, as Lucky Dog is now going to use the DRS to go past CRL Hamilton on those Ultra Soft tyres. And oh yes, and that's very close as well between Ciario and Alonso. He does not want to be binning away a potential podium position, but right now you've got to think Lucky Dog is not that far behind Ciario, and he's on the Ultra Soft tyres. So I mean, I don't really know where anyone is right now, and it's quite confusing. And that's contact between Alonso and Ciario. We don't want to see that.
And I think also there was actually a car coming out of the pits behind them as well, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, Alonso up the inside, carries so much more speed than Ciario. It was almost like he was planning on Ciario being extra cautious. Ciario makes a lunge, though. It's not a dive bomb, bit of a lunge, though, into turn 6. And it does look like with the better traction at the exit of turn 7, he might be able to sneak up the inside. Now, going side by side through turns 8 and 9 is certainly not recommended, but here they go, side by side. Lucky Dog now behind on the Ultra Soft tires is going to carry far more speed. He's going to move past Alonso side by side with Ciario. He is going to get the DRS. And Ciario will not get the DRS here, so there he goes around the outside. Alonso coming up at the inside, a little bit of wheel banging there, but I don't think any damage for either of the drivers, which I think may have actually helped Ciario here. He's got a bit of a gap to Lucky Dog 2000 now. I think he's going to be okay into this chicane, but will he be okay into turn 1 is the real question, I think.
I don't think he will be. I think Lucky Dog's going to be so quick out of this last chicane. Let's have a look. Yeah, that you can see him in the mirrors. Lucky Dog surely is going to take that position and go up into P5. Can he? Up the inside, and Ciario's going to look up the inside of P2, turn 2, and Lucky Dog absolutely. I mean, he has got 2 compound difference between each other: soft, super soft, and then ultra softs. And Lucky Dog, if he can get to the end, I'm not sure when he pitted, but it seems like he's very quick at the moment, and his tyres are not struggling at all. So right now, Ciario has. I just don't think he's got it right as they go side by side into the last chicane. But right now, I don't think as they actually got through it without hitting the wall of champions. Right. So Justin gives it a nice little round of applause. I like that. But I think some of these guys, Ciario and Martin, have not really got the right strategy going here, or maybe it's just because Ycoms. I think the advantage that the other guys that below P10, the ones that have started on the soft compound tyres, have that tyre wear advantage, and we're seeing that happening now. Obviously, we're really hoping that Codemasters is going to sort that out eventually, but as you can see, onto the Ultra Softs, both the Flying Finn and Strees go, and the battle continues. Will we see anyone else climb up to this battle? I'm not sure, but it's going to be very interesting to see.
It does look like they are going to maintain the lead of the race, though. I don't think they came out behind traffic at all. Yeah, the Flying Finn takes P1. It doesn't. Well, actually, no. There is traffic, but it's actually lap down traffic. I'm not sure who that is, but obviously, again, a big gap between the front and the back because of all of the incidents at the beginning of the race. Meanwhile, Stu just flies up the inside into that final chicane on those ultra soft tires on Leobot, but Leobot is having none of it. He's coming right back at him with the benefit of the slipstream. Into turn 1 we go, but Stu, no, with those ultra soft tires, just able to outbrake the Toro Rosso behind him, able to hold on to that P12 position. We don't know if he needs to stop again. Again, the strategy is kind of all up in the air. Neither of us has run recently anyway a 50% distance of Monaco or Canada, excuse me, or anything like that. So, but meanwhile, up at the front, the gap between the Flying Finn and Strees is bigger than it's been all race long. I mean, this is by far the biggest gap we've seen, I think.
Yeah, I was about to say that is crucial because Strees does not have DRS. He was 1.1 behind going into the hairpin, and now the Flying Finn and Street, it is a pure battle. It's 1.8 seconds now, so it is a battle of pure pace, and the Flying Finn looks to be winning this one at the moment, with Cupid up in P3 from last on the grid pretty much. He is up onto that podium position, but he is on the soft tyres, so I'm pretty sure there are going to be some very quick drivers starting to catch him, but Strees looks like maybe that mental pressure of winning a race is starting to hit him, as it's now 2 seconds the gap. Cupid is only 4 seconds off the lead. This is unbelievable driving driving from Cupid, and it has to be said, he seems to have been sort of learning from his previous mistakes, and he's managed to get through the field this time without too many issues. And it'll be very interesting to see what Cupid's pace is like towards the end of this race. I think these two are going to fly away from him, but it'll be interesting to see who's in fourth and just to sort of monitor the gaps. But really, Cupid isn't losing that much time in the sectors, considering he is on the soft tyres compared to these two that are on just the fastest compounds available in Formula 1. And we're just still on board with the Flying Finn, who is just pulling that gap away at the moment. With well, we're just about to finish lap 26 of 35, going to the last chicane. That's pretty much how you want to take it. That's perfect through there, and the Flying Finn looking like he cannot be touched. Once again, a 12.9 for the Flying Finn, putting down a statement saying, Strees, it was a great battle, mate. We had a bit of fun with DRS, but now it's time to just, let's play proper. And it seems like the Flying Finn is flying away. Ciaru's down in 6th position now. Lucky Dog up into P5, not that far away from a podium position himself, as we now have a replay of Cupid in the pits.
Yep, comes into the pits, fits a set of
1.8!
Wow! Wow, Red Bull. Holy cow, what did they eat for breakfast this morning? That's incredible. And Cupid did go onto the soft compound tires. I know it's a mandatory tire compound, but there was only 11 laps remaining in the race, I'm pretty sure, when he came in. So he is going to, I mean, he could punish those tires as much as he possibly wants. The softs will easily, well, not easily, they'll easily do 15 laps, though, I would say. Stu now onto the back of Franglish. He's on those ultra soft tires. Franglish on those soft compound tires. Does get the DRS and also the slipstream, and it doesn't look like Franglish is going to fight him all that much. Force India driver moves up into P11, just outside the points paying positions, with STS F1 Alonso just up the road. And with just 8 laps remaining in this race, I would say Stu is could find himself in a points paying position, but he is going to have to push quite hard. He's going to have to make no mistakes whatsoever. It has not been a fantastic race for the Force India drivers. We've seen some fantastic results from both of them this season, but both of them currently outside of the points. Ycoms! Oh no! We've had a Massa and Perez moment. I mean, it was even into the same corner. Ycoms just goes spinning off. He now finds himself at the pit lane exit, and he's just going to take that, and that's going to be a 3-second Zeitstrafe for Strees and Ciaru. As you mentioned, down in P6, but I believe, wow, actually Lucky Dog is now ahead of Martin. So again, as you mentioned, Matty, those Ultra Softs incredibly quick right now. He's up to P4. Yeah, there we saw him just going through turn 2. He's now up into P4. So I think we might have to rethink who is the lead driver at Haas potentially.
Yeah, I'm not sure why this Force India is ghosted. That's why.
That's why.
Alonso's in the middle of the track through the last chicane. He's retired from the session, so he must have lost his full front wing with only a few laps to go. And Stu will take that 10th position and say thank you very much indeed on those ultra soft tyres. Leobot out of the points for this race, as we're now on board with Lucky Dog, who is trying to catch Cupid on those ultra soft tyres, but it seems like Martin is catching him, if anything, and it'll be very interesting to see what his tyre wear is like as we come into the hairpin for the 33rd time. No, it's 9.9 seconds to Cupid. There's not a chance he is getting caught by the end of this race. This is a battle between Martin and Lucky Dog, and he's done a great job to get up to P4. Can he hold off the Season 10 champion? It'll be very interesting to see, as we're now on board with last position, trying to go up the inside of Franglish for some reason. I'm not sure why Falcon is battling these guys, but he's deciding to battle them anyway, even though he is a lapped car. He's just deciding, right, no, okay, he's going to hit them as well.
Drift his way through the hairpin.
What are you doing, my friend? I mean, it has to be said, what are you actually doing? Just stay out of this. I mean, you're a lap down. That's my opinion anyway. I mean, I know you're on the Ultra Softs. So are these guys as well, I think. Oh, no, they're not. He's on the Super Softs. But either way, Leobot's probably not appreciating this, considering 10th place is just down the road. And Falcon is trying to probably set a fastest lap of the race after being upside down. He's not had a great race. But the Flying Finn has a 3-second gap now as we are on the penultimate lap with him. And Strees does not look particularly menacing. And it looks like Cupid is going to come home for that podium position. But Justin, it has been an absolutely manic race. His tyre wear, Flying Finn, absolutely fine. No worries about that. He's got enough fuel as well. Who would you say your driver of the day is?
Oh, man. Well, okay. I would say it might be Lucky Dog now, actually. Started outside the top 10. I believe it was like 12, 13, 14, something like that. currently in 4th position, defending that position from Martin. Yeah, you know, even if he loses that position to Martin, I think that may have been the standout for me. It's either got to be him or Strees. You know, it's either, look at that, holding on to that 4th place position. He's got Martin right behind as they start the final lap of this race, and they've got some traffic up ahead as well in the form of one of the Manors. I know it's not snowy, so it must be 6 skills, I would assume. Limitless is up into 7th. We haven't seen loads of Limitless, but I mean, like I said, for his teammate to finish ahead of Limitless, I'd say, you know, it's got to be him or Strees. You know, those guys put in a fantastic performance today.
Yeah, for me, my driver of the day has got to be Cupid, purely because he went from 21st on the grid to 3rd.
Yeah.
He was next to Limitless on the track, and Limitless has finished 7th, nowhere near where Cupid has finished. I know Limitless got caught up in a couple of incidents, but either way, Cupid has managed to just sieve his way through the field absolutely fantastically, and we're about to see the Flying Finn take another victory, and that's a car in the wall. But either way, Flying Finn comes home unscathed and takes the victory here for the Canadian Grand Prix. A fantastic drive, a great battle between him and Strees, but he comes out on top. Cupid finishes 2nd. Strees had a penalty.
Oh!
So Cupid is being promoted to P2.
I'm changing my answer. I'm changing my answer.
You can't copy me, Justin. But wow, Strees has been... Oh, wow. So Strees has been demoted to P3. Martin is P5. Ciaru P6. Lucky Dog now held on to P4, so great result for him. Limitless is going to come home in P7. Jason P8. And Cyril Hamilton in 9th. Wow. I mean, I can't believe Strees, after all that, he had such a gap to Cupid as well. I can't believe how many penalties he must have. So that'll be interesting to see what the leaderboard says as Falcon... blows
That's
up
how
his
you do
tyre
it.
as he comes. That's the greatest way to finish a race, I have to say. As Reversal comes home in 12th in the end after a few crashes in front and retirees. But it's not going to be any points for him this time out. And, well, let's have a look at the standings for round 7 of this Canadian Grand Prix. And yet 9 seconds of penalties Strees gets to finish 3rd. But the Flying Finn wins in 44 minutes and 6 seconds ahead of Cupid. 6.1 seconds in the end Cupid was behind. Fantastic drive from him. Strees finishes the podium off with Lucky Dog 2000 now. A great result for him. Doing a one-stop strategy. The first of the one-stoppers finishing in P4. Then you've got Martin P5, Ciaru 6th. Then you've got Limitless in a disappointing, you have to say, P7 with Jason, Stu and Cyril Hamilton rounding up the top 10. Then you've got Leobot, the man just about missing out. Even though Hamilton had 12 seconds of penalties, he still finished in the points. Very lucky boy he is with Leobot. If he hadn't had those 6 seconds worth of penalties, he would have got in the points instead. But the Flying Finn with a 1:12.9, what a lap from him there. And there is the second page. And, well, 17th all the way down to 21st did not finish with Andre, the only non-starter today. Wow, take a breath, Justin.
I mean, that was... I mean, it was a perfect race for what we've seen so far from Season 12. I mean, it's been an absolutely insane season. And Canada usually provides some fantastic races. And unfortunately, in seasons past, sometimes we've had to actually skip over Canada. But it's great to see some fantastic racing. Ciaru, unfortunately, his gap to the Flying Finn up at the top is going to be increasing actually significantly. He's now 37 points adrift, and I have to imagine Ciaru is probably asking himself what if, because the Flying Finn went off right at turn 1, made that contact with the Red Bull, and that could have potentially been the race lead for Ciaru if things had worked out just slightly differently. Limitless does gain some positions, as does Stu in the championship standings. But yeah, I have to wonder if Ciaru is asking himself, what if?
Definitely, but there is still a lot to play for as we have a look at the second part of the Drivers' Championship standings. And, well, there you go. Strees all the way up into 15th now with 16 points after that 15 points haul for this Canadian Grand Prix. I'm sure that feels a lot better than seeing just the 1 point. Snowy is the only person who I'm still rooting to get a point after that Spanish Grand Prix escapade that he had. And there's the Constructors' Championship. Williams is still out in front with Renault. Both Flying Finn and Ciaru still flying those flags very high for their respective teams. And Red Bull make a few positions as well. Actually, just the one up into 4th with 76 points. But we still have more than half the season left for this AOR. We actually have 14 races left, Justin. So we've still got a hell of a long way to go. Anything can happen. Let's hope Limitless doesn't quit again and actually sees this season out. It'd be very nice to see that, so he doesn't have to start spectating other races. We want to see a close bat at the front, and we want to see more than just maybe 2 or 3, but maybe that will happen at the European Grand Prix for round 8. Baku, what a track. We've never been there before, Justin. I'm proper looking forward to that.
Yeah, and like you said, we've never been there before for a league race, so it should be pretty exciting. It's going to be new for all the drivers, so, you know, maybe the Flying Finn won't be so good. Maybe he won't have as much practice as he has had at the other circuits.
Maybe
so
pigs will fly.
Yeah, exactly. Hell might freeze over. I mean, any number of things can happen in Azerbaijan, so I think it'll be pretty good. It is a circuit that promotes overtaking, similar to Canada, actually, with nice long straights and slow corners at the end of those straights and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I'm excited for Baku.
So make sure you tune in for round 8 next week for the Baku European Grand Prix. It should be a good one. It's caught me out many a times going around that track. So make sure you tune in next week. I've been Matthew Gallagher, xMattyG, and Justin has been alongside me today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you very soon. Goodbye.